What's going on, everyone? My name is Alpha, and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Radical Red 4.1, and today's challenge, we're gonna spin the wheel once again. And this time, we actually got the Fuel type egg group. That's actually a really normal one compared to last time, which was Mineral. So I have high expectations for this one, and I'm pretty sure it didn't disappoint. So what we're doing today, we're gonna play on Radical Red 4.1 using a random egg group that we spun. So we're doing the Fuel type only egg group. We're gonna play on hardcore mode just like always, and also on top of that, each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thanks so much for leaving a nickname in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after future Pokemon, just drop in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while it's down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, let's get into the challenge video itself. So to begin off, we're gonna get ourselves pretty good starter Pokemon. We're gonna get ourselves a Score Bunny, which is going to evolve it immediately and just have an advantage off against our rival, which is kind of funny that you can do. That's the only time you can over level against the trainers in Radical Red, which is kind of funny. But either way, from there we're gonna search out and we're gonna get a bunch of fueled egg group Pokemon. So a lot of them are gonna be like rodent Pokemon and a lot of Pokemon that lives in grass or naturally in the grass. So a lot of Pokemon in Route 3 are really good for this. So we get a bunch of Pokemon in Route 3, make our way into Viridian Forest, and then face off against Brendan, get ourselves the XP share, and then face off against this train to get ourselves infinite repels, and then once again fight out the last train to get ourselves into Pure City, which from there we're gonna face off against Faulkner, and Faulkner is a pretty easy battle. As you can see, once we clear through Faulkner, we're gonna face off against the first gym leader in the game. We're gonna face off against Brock, and we're gonna start the battle off against Brock using my reboot against his Hippopotas. Now this wasn't really planned out. I was like, I'm not doing good damage, so I was thinking about switching out, but then I just stayed in, knock out the Hippopotas, and also chip down the Cacnea to eventually knock him out with a Sucker Punch. I get knocked out by the Toxic and the Sandstorm, but it was worth it. As from there, I switch out to my Mankey, catch the Lunatone, which I don't want to do, so I had to sacrifice my Luxio, go out into my Raticate. My Alolan Raticate's able to knock out the Lunatone, go out to my Mankey to knock out the Leap, which is pretty good. There we go, we barely knock him out. As from there, I go out to my Galarian Linoone to knock out the Arcan, and then chip down the Vroom for us. As eventually I'm gonna go out to my Raticate and knock him out as we beat down Brock, and we can move on from there. We're gonna make our way into Route 4. We're clear through this trainer before we head into Mount Moon. Now Mount Moon, there's actually a lot of great Pokemon in Mount Moon that I wanted to get. So Riolu, you know how Lucario is really broken in this game, and also we get ourselves a Teddy Ursa, which I really like. Teddy Ursa, Ursaring, I always liked them. They're not the greatest Pokemon, but I always like to have them. As from there, we're gonna face off against the Scientist in Mount Moon, which isn't too difficult. We also face off against Archer, Team Rocket Admin, pretty easy as well. As we make our way into a Cerulean City afterwards, we're gonna start trying to raise the happiness of our Riolu, trying to evolve it. It did not work for some reason, so I can't use my Lucario, I guess. From there, we're gonna face off against the next gym leader in the game. We're gonna face off against Misty. We're gonna start the battle off against Misty, use my Luxio against her Politoed. I'm gonna two-shot into him as I get Toxic, which is kind of annoying. As from there, she can switch out to her Toxicroak. I go out into my Prime to Final Gambit. I was thinking about just gonna knock him out. It did not work out. So I had to go out to my Galarian Rapidash to knock out the Toxicroak, as it got a Swords Dance up, so it's kind of scary. From there, you can switch out into her Clocksire. I got a lucky Hypnosis, it lands Hypnosis at least. Go out to my Raticate to Zen Headbutt and knock out a Clocksire. She then goes out to her Ludicolo, which I get some chip damage with Hyper Fang and also Quick Attack. I go out to my Rockruff Dustmane next and knock out the Ludicolo and chip down the Mantine, as I go out into my Luxio to knock out the Mantine, and her final opponent will be a Starmie. I go out to my Rapidash to do some chip damage, and then go out to my Lunatone to finish the battle. We barely survive it with 6 HP, but we beat down Misty. As from there, we're gonna make our way into the Nugget Bridge and clear through that, obviously. And then from there, we also get a bunch of new Pokemon. We get ourselves a Growlithe, Hisuian Growlithe, regular Growlithe, and also a Alolan Vulpix, which are always going to be great to have. From there, we're going to make our way into the SSN and clear through this Water type trainer. I hate this fight a lot because my Pokemon were not good enough, but eventually we got through them, and then we're face off against Lieutenant Surge afterwards. From there, we're going to start the battle off against Surge using my Cinderace, and Cinderace one-shots the Rotom Frost with Pyro Ball, so this thing is really broken. As from there, he goes out to his Raichu. I go for a Power Ball as he goes for a Nasty Plot. Quick Attack to knock him out, and then from there he goes out to his Mega Ampharos. I decided to go out to my Extra to take to Dragon Pulse, and then from there I can Earthquake and one-shot him. His next opponent's going to be an Electro. He's getting Chloroblast and knock me out. As I go out into my Cinderace to bait out the explosion, go out to my Lucario that I finally evolved, and then Mach Punch into the Polynut to break his Focus Sash. Go out into my Mamoswine to knock out the Polynut as... oh, it did not work. I go out to my Cinderace to knock out the Polynut, and also knock out the Hitmonlee for us as we able... this thing's broken, by the way. What a broken Pokemon. We beat down Lieutenant Surge, get ourselves the 3rd gym badge in the game, and now we can move on into the Rock Tunnel, where we cleared down pretty easily this final trainer over here, and then face off against the Sunny Day trainer out inside right before Lavender Tower. Once we beat him, we have access into Lavender Town, and from there we can face off against this Hisuian trainer to face up to make our way into Celadon City, which, you know, there's a few things. We want to evolve our Pokemon that uses stones. We want to get certain water type starters, including Oshawott and Poplio. Those are going to be the best ones we can have because I don't think Blastoise is in the field group. Dewott and Poplio are. That doesn't really make any sense because Poplio is kind of a seal, so I'm not sure why it's in this egg group, but it works out. As from there, we can move on and face off against Erica, the next gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Galarian Rapidash to go for a Hypnosis into a Fire Lash to eventually knock him out, but she switched out into her Slowbro, which from there I just switched out. I switched out into my Samurott, go for a Ceaseless Edge that actually set up spikes for us, and from there she can switch out into her Hawlucha with a Grassy Seed. Kind of annoying as I go out into my Rapidash to sack it. Then I'm gonna go out into my Arcanine to knock with a Flare Blitz into an Extreme Speed to knock out the Hawlucha. From there she switched back out to her Slowbro, so I go out into my Samurott, go again Ceaseless Edge, but it's really not. I missed the first one that actually cost me to die. As from there I go out to my Cinderace, Powerball to knock out the Slowbro, and then from there, we're able to Powerball into the Sceptile as well to knock out. Her next opponent will be a Kartana as I go into my Arcanine without Intimidate, but it's okay. I survived the Sacred Sword barely, and I'm able to Flare Blitz and knock him out. There I go out to my Extro, just lose it instantly. I go out to my Lucky Rock next to knock out the Ogerpon, and then chip down the Toxicity for us as we knock out Erica, as we get ourselves the 4th Gym Badge in the game. From there, we can make our way into the basement of the game corner and face off against Giovanni. Pretty lucky, I guess. I don't know. We just cleared through him pretty easily. And then go into Lavender Tower, get ourselves the Pokeflute, and then face off against a rival in Silphco. Pretty easy fight over here. As from there, Cinderace is actually the most broken Pokemon. We also get the Libero ability on it, so from there we can move on and face off against Archer and Ariana in this double battle fight. Kneasler being in the field egg group is actually really useful because it's really good. From there we can move on and face up against Giovanni once again, beat down Giovanni as we have access into the next portion of Saffron City. From there we can face off against the dojo in Saffron City and clear through Chuck. Get ourselves the Focus Sash from Chuck and then face off against Sabrina next. Now we'll also get a Tauros actually. We're going to face off against Sabrina. She has infinite Trick Room and infinite Misty Terrain. So we're going to start the battle off against her using my newly obtained Tauros and also my Obstagoon. Obstagoon goes for an Upshrug as I go for an Aqua Jet with my Tauros. From there I can bait out the Misty Explosion, knock out the camera up, tap Infinity and also my Tauros, so it's worth it. Go out into my Cinderace next, and then from there I could Powerball. I missed the Obstruct, which isn't the greatest play, but I knock out the Magearna at least. From there I go out into my Togedemaru. I go for a Sucker Punch against the Jellicent using my Cinderace, and then Zippy Zap to knock out the Jellicent as well. From there the Iron Hands just target down my Togedemaru for some reason, and then from there I could just double attack into the Glacier. As from there we're able to knock him out, and then his final opponent will be the Iron Hands. All we gotta do is attack into him, and it works out pretty well for us as we beat down Sabrina with my Arcanine and my Samurott. So we beat down Sabrina, we have access into the Cycling Road. We're gonna clear through the Cycling Road, make our way into Fuchsia City as you can see, and then unlock the Egg Move Merchant. So we have Egg Moves, and it's pretty good Egg Moves. We have High Jump Kick on my Cinderace and Lucario now, which is really good. We also beat down Brennan in front of the Safari Zone, so we have access into the Safari Zone, and then we're going to face up against the first 3 gym leaders because Koga requires it. Things like that. From there, we're going to move on and face off against Brock next. Brock's a pretty easy fight. Once we beat Brock, we're going to face off against Misty next. Misty's a lot harder. We actually spent a lot of time against her Archlodon. Once we get through him, because Cinderace is broken with High Jump Kick, we can face off against Lieutenant Surge, and once again, Cinderace is broken. Also, my Luxray and my Zebstrika come in handy here. From there, we're going to move on and face off against Koga next. We're going to start the battle off against Koga in his Infinite Tailwind and Infinite Psychic Surge. We're gonna have to be very careful as we start the battle off against him using my Berserker. We're gonna make my Berserker dodge the Focus Blast and then Iron Head to knock out Tapu Lele. His next Pokemon is gonna be a Shiyu. I go out into my Rapidash. I really thought I was gonna do something here. I went for Hypnosis, Fire Lash into him, and then he wakes up and knocks me out. So it wasn't the greatest play. I go out into my Ursaluna next to knock out the Shiyu. But from there, he's going to switch out to his Krookodile. I go out into my Tauros. Tauros intimidates into a close combat, would knock out the Krookodile. As from there, his next opponent will be a Toxicity. I sack my Tauros, go out to my own Krookodile, and then Earthquake to knock out a Toxicity. Sack him to the Hoopa Unbound as I go out to my Togedemaru to U-turn and knock him out. As from there, his final opponent will be a Nidoking. I have a Focus Sash on my Berserker to take the Earth Power and then Metal Burst to knock him out. As we beat down Koga and get ourselves the 6th gym badge in the game. From there, we have access to Surf and also Mega Lucario, so pretty good deal for us. As we go to Seafoam Island, face off against Price, beat down Price, get ourselves a Choice Scarf, and then from there we go out to Cinnabar Island, face off against May. May's a pretty easy fight as well over here as we clear through her and then make our way into the mansion, unlock the gym, and then face off against Blaine's trainers in there. This is actually my entire box. We didn't get a bunch of Pokemon afterwards. We don't catch any other Pokemon. These are all the Pokemon I'm going to use for the rest of the game. As from there, we can move on and face off against Blaine next. We're going to start the battle off against Blaine using my Alolan Ninetales. Ninetales able to Ice Beam into the Sandy Shug and then try to guess the Ho-Oh coming out. didn't work for me as it goes out to Ho on the third turn. Dodges my Hypnosis. I got into my Rapidash to go for a Wild Charge. Sack my Rapidash. I then go out to my Togedemaru and then U-turn into him, predicting the Great Tusk. Go out to my Ninetales. Unfortunately, Ninetales is still weak enough that I can't knock out the Great Tusk, so it's gonna knock me out, but it's left with 1 HP. As from there, I go out to my Cinderace to knock out the Great Tusk, and also High Jump Kick into the Walking Wake into a Sucker Punch to knock him out. And from there, I can Sucker Punch into the Venusaur as I get knocked out by him, but go out to my Togedemaru to Iron Head and then Zippy Zap to knock out the Venusaur. Chip down the Charizard just a little bit. Then from there, I can go out to my Lycanroc with a Choice Scarf to Mighty Cleave and knock out the Charizard and knock out the Ho-Oh, and also survive an Earthquake from the Ho-Oh so I can knock him out a second time, and then chip down a Sandy Shock, eventually knock him out as we beat down Blaine and get ourselves the 7th Gym Badge in the game. From there, we can move on and face off against Archer and Ariana in this back-to-back fight. In Cerulean Cave, we beat down Archer pretty easily with my Cinderace, and then from there, Cinderace once again wants to do everything and beat down Ariana as well. We beat down both of them. As we move on, we get the Houndoomite. We also have a Houndoom, so Houndoom just clears through the next Giovanni fight in the Cerulean Cave, so we cleared through him pretty easily. From there, we beat Giovanni. We have access into the 8th gym in the game. We're gonna start the battle off against the 8th gym leader in the game, Claire, using none of my fairy Pokemon because that's banned. Go for my Berserker, and Berserker does not get any flinches apparently, but I'm able to knock out the Shuckle, and then from there I could Metal Burst into the Archodon, which is alright. I mean, she still switched out to her Ultra Necrozma, which knocks out my Berserker. Go out to my Luxray. Luxray is able to Sucker Punch and knock out the Necrozma, but the Eternus comes out, it's gonna knock me out, but I get some chip damage. I go out into my Togedemaru next. Togedemaru is able to go for a Nuzzle, Iron Head into him. Zippy Zap does not kill him, so he's gonna knock me out. Go out to my Cinderace, which here's another broken move. Sucker Punch into Eternus, and then from there, she goes out to her Roaring Moon. I go for a High Jump Kick, which would knock out the Roaring Moon, and also I outspeed the Magearna still, Power Ball into him to knock him out, and then Sucker Punch into the Archodon, leaving at 1 HP. Go out to my Mega Lucario to Bullet Punch and knock him out as we beat down Claire in rather easy fashion. From there, we're going to face off against our rival and figure out that our rival is going to use his Water Team from now on, so he has a Kyogre at the end. Don't have to worry about a Sun Team at all. From there, we also face off against Brendan at the end, right before Victory Road. And then from there, we beat down Brendan and make our way into Victory. And then head into the Indigo Plateau next. We figure out Lorelei is using her Water Team, so we're going to adjust our team just a little bit. So our final team is going to be a Alolan Ninetales, a Samurott, Cinderace, Togedemaru, Mega Lucario, and Pokésash Berserker. So it's going to be an interesting team. As from there, we can face off against the Elite Four and start the Elite Four challenge using my Ninetales and also Samurott. So we can go for a Freeze Dry against the Ludicolo and send the Sacred Sword into the Iron Bundle. Unfortunately, he's going to double attack into my Ninetales and flinch it. So I'm able to get a Sacred Sword off against the Iron Bundle. And in the following turn, I actually get it off. I'm able to knock out the Iron Bundle and a Freeze Dry into the Ludicolo, which works out really well for us. As from there, I'm able to Freeze Dry once more, knock out the Ludicolo, and then Sucker Punch into the Genesect. From there, my Samurott goes down. I go out into my Berserker next. Berserker is able to go for a Metal Burst and then tank the Earthquake and then knock out the Swampert with it. And Genesect goes down, my Ninetales goes down, everyone goes down. As from there, I go out into my Togedemaru next, which actually decides to go crazy. I went for Bullet Punch and Nuzzle against the Dragonite, and then go out to my Lucario next. I'm able to go for a Zing Zap and then double attack into the Dragonite. From there, I could double attack into the Palkia as it knocks on my Lucario, but we're ready to knock him out as we beat down Lorelei. And from there, we can move on into the next fight in the game. We're going to face off against Bruno next. Bruno's going to start the battle off against us using their Urshifu. I go for my Cinderace right here. Cinderace is able to go for a High Jump Kick into a Sucker Punch to knock out the Urshifu. His next opponent is going to be Iron Bailey, and he's going to knock me out, but I go out into my Lucario next. Lucario is able to go for a Meteor Mash and knock out the Iron Valiant. His next moment after that will be a Hawlucha, which I go for a Bullet Punch. It did a lot of damage, but unfortunately, it knocks me out as I go out to my Togedemaru to Zippy Zap and knock out the Hawlucha. And also against the Zash, I decided to switch out into my Berserker and catch on a Sword Stance into a Metal Burst to knock him out, and then his Necrozma comes out, which works out really well for us. I go out into my Samurott to Ceaseless Edge and also take an Earthquake. Sucker Punch to knock him down to low HP, go out to my Togedemaru once again, Zippy Zap to knock him out, and then Zippy Zap into the Medicham, and then eventually chip him down a little bit. As from there, I go out to my Ninetales with a Choice Scarf, Moonblast to knock out the Mega Medicham, and end up beating down Bruno. Now next up, our next Elite Four member is going to be a lot harder. We're going to face off against Agatha next. We're going to start the battle off against Agatha using my Cinderace. We can go for an Iron Head into the Crocodile to make it flinch, and then we're going to threaten the High Jump Kick with my Cinderace to knock him out, but we're going to actually U-turn into him because he always switched out. So the Victini comes out, I switched out into my Togedemaru next, Nuzzle into him, and then hopefully it just stays paralyzed as I go out to my Samurott. Doesn't stay paralyzed, it can powerball into me and then focus blast me, but I do get a ceaseless edge with my Samurai. Go out to my Togedemaru next to knock out the Victini. From there, her next opponent is going to be a Calyrex, which I nuzzle once again as well. I made a Zippy Zap into him, doesn't get a flinch, but she can knock me down to 1 HP as I knock him down to low HP. I go for an Iron Head, predicting the switch, but it wasn't enough as the Crocodile is going to outspeed me and knock me out. Go out to my Cinderins next. Cinderins is able to knock out the Crocodile, deny rocks, and then from there the Mewtwo comes out. It's going to knock me out in one shot as I go out into my Berserker to Metal Burst into him. It wants to charge up, but it's not going to work out. We knock out the Mewtwo X, and then from there Yveltal comes out, knocks out my Berserker. I'm like, oh, this fight might be over. I go out to my Mega Lucario and then High Jump Kick, crit out of nowhere to knock out Yveltal, and also Meteor Mash into the Flutter Mane to knock him out. So we end up clutching it up pretty well, as from there her final opponent will be a Calyrex. I missed my Meteor Mash, but that's fine. I go out to my Ninetales, Moonblast to knock him out as we beat down Agatha, and now we can move on. So next up against Lance, we can actually restart like 4 times, but it works out as we start the battle off against Lance using my Lucario. Lucario gets a Meteor Mash and an attack boost on the first turn. Forgot a Mega, but I think it's worth it. As from there, I can Mega in the second turn, Meteor Mash into the Dialga, and then High Jump Kick it to knock him out. From there, I can survive a Flamethrower from RC's Fairy and then Meteor Mash into him as well. And then the Dragonite comes out. It's going to knock me out, but that's alright. I did a lot of damage to his team already. Go out into my Samurai and Ceaseless Edge into Dragonite twice. Eventually, I set up 2 Laser Spike and Sucker Punch to knock out the Dragonite. From there, I can Sucker Punch into the Rayquaza as it knocks me out, but I go out to my Ninetales next to Ice Beam and knock him out, so that's pretty easy. From there, his next opponent is going to be a Melmetal. He's going to knock out my Ninetales as I go out to my Cinderins to Pyro Ball, end up not killing the Melmetal, which is crazy. I go out to my Togedemaru next to Zippy Zap and knock out the Melmetal, and also the Spike damage from earlier would knock out the Glimmora as we beat down Lance, and we can move on into the final battle in the game. We're face up against Blue next. He's going to start the battle off against us using his Primal Kyogre. So I go out to my Cinderins. I go for a High Jump Kick, change my typing, knock him down to low HP, and also survive a Liquidation. Force him out to his Eternatus, which I wish I went for a U-turn. From there, I'm going to sack my Cinderins and then go out into my Berserker to Metal Burst into him and Bullet Punch to knock him out. His next opponent is going to be a Swampert. I go out to my Ninetales to take the damage and then save my Berserker for later. Freeze Dry with my Choice Scarf and knock him down to low HP. As from there, I can go back out into my Berserker, fake out into Bullet Punch with knock out a Swampert. As I'm able to get Bullet Punch damage against the Walking Weight, I go out into my Samurai, Ceaseless Edge twice to knock him down to low HP, and then Sucker Punch to knock him out. From there, he's going to go out into his Extreme Killer Arceus, chip him down a little bit, and then go out to my Lucario. Lucario is able to go for a High Jump Kick and one-shot the Arceus, and also chip down the Necrozma a little bit before it actually knocks me out with an Earthquake. Actually, I didn't do enough damage at all. I go out into my Togedemaru. I'm able to go for a Nuzzle against him, paralyze him. It goes for Dragonite randomly in between that as I knock him down to red HP, and then Zippy Zap with a crit would knock him out. And then from there, his final opponent will be a Kyogre. Zippy Zap once again to knock him out as we beat down Blue and just cleared through Radical 4.1 Hardcore mode using a Togedemaru as my secret weapon in the bag. So you can see my entire team is pretty strong. That's a really easy run through of Radical Red, if you guys can't tell. It was like, I don't know, sub 3 hours 30 minutes. Honestly, I think I could have got it faster if I didn't stop and ate dinner in between, but honestly that was pretty fun. Anyways, that's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name is Alpha, and I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'm out. Peace.